most terrifying thing to ever walk this planet. Men. So when I was 18 or 19, I went on a Bumble date. I was on Bumble for a while, and I went on a date with a guy who we chatted for a few days, I guess, and he was like, let me take you out to dinner. And he takes me to this Asian restaurant, and the whole time he's telling me about all this super machista stuff and how misogynistic he is. He just revealed it to me. And I remember at one point he told me about how he believes like disciplining women is very important to a relationship. And he proceeded to order my food for me. Like, he decided what I would have. And of course, it was like a salad at a sushi restaurant. I was like, why can't I have sushi? And he's like, oh, it's not ladylike. Yeah, and then he drove me home and asked if he could come in and get it on. And I said, can you drop me off? Actually, I need to go home. I have some stuff to do. And I made him drop me off around the corner, and he was like visibly angry at me for not letting him come in. And he said something along the lines of, so I buy you food and I can't come into your house after. I do not owe you anything. Sorry. Anyways, next story. Before, well, kind of during, I was meeting Ivan, my boyfriend, of 4 years. I went on a date one day with this one guy, and back then I used to smoke a lot of, well, I do not anymore. And this guy went on one date, professed his love to me, came over the next day, and gave me a gift, a smoking gift. And yeah, then I told him, like, you know, I'm not really, I'm kind of busy later. And he said that I need to come get some stuff from your house. And I looked around and there was nothing there. He just wanted to come over. And Ivan was there whenever he got there, because I was a single lady and I was seeing multiple men while they were seeing multiple women, like as adults do. I was probably like 19 years old or something. So he proceeded to text me some nonsense about, like, how could you do this to me? And I was like, we met one day ago and you professed your love to me. I don't know you. I don't even know his name. Like, I don't think I even knew his name whenever he came to pick up his stuff that didn't exist. Anyways, next story. Oh, another time I went on a date with a guy who was driving a multiple $100,000 truck. And he was like 25. And we went to multiple bars, I guess. I was probably like 21 at the time. I don't know, how old was I? I don't know. But we bounced around and did activities. And then he said, you should get in my car. And I was like, why can't we just meet at the next place? You know, it's a first date. I don't want to get in your car. And he like pinned me up against the car, got kind of aggressive, and was like, you should really ride with me. And I said, let's just go grab dinner, I'll meet you there. And after that, I never saw him again. Because I wouldn't get in his car, he didn't go to the next location or text me back or anything, and he blocked me on the site. That sounds like trafficking to me. Next story time, I was paid to do dances at a guy's house, like private dances, and basically it was in my friend's neighborhood, and I parked my car at their house, and he picked me up down the street because he was obviously hiding it from his wife. Whatever. He told me some BS story about how his wife was okay with it. They all do, don't they all? They all do. So he paid me less and then tried to drive off with me in the car. And I pepper sprayed him in the face. And I jumped out of a moving car, broke my sunglasses, and ran to my friend's house when my car was parked. So luckily he didn't know what my car looked like at the time. And I banged on the door in the middle of the night. And I was like, let me in. And, of course, they're some of my best friends. They said, oh my gosh, get in. And her husband responded to him, blowing up my phone, calling me, and whatever. And he said, I don't have to pay you that much. You didn't actually give me anything. And I was like, that wasn't what I agreed on. You said some private dances and you owe me money for it. You tried to scam me and drive off with me in your car to do whatever you planned on. So you got pepper sprayed and I dipped. It's just kind of accumulation of all the times that I've been in the club and they've been so touchy in the private section, and they're like, I'm paying the club for you to be here. I'm like, you're not paying me enough. You can't just touch me, especially whenever that gets the club shut down. This next story. Amount of times I've been harassed by randoms to provide either in-person or online content that I would say no to. And let's get to that. Consent can be taken away. Okay, so before anything has happened, I can take the consent away and refuse to do it. And that's fine. That's how consent works. Nothing was agreed upon. Well, let's say something was agreed upon. Like, example, when I was in the club one time, and this guy said, will you do this dance for me? Very particular. And I said yes. And then we got to the section, never exchanged money. I actually bought him a drink too, because I was really I thought he was cute. And then ultimately I changed my mind, and he harassed me. Consent is not guaranteed. I'm sorry, I changed my mind after the fact, and I bought you something. You got stuff for free out of this. That's crazy. Anyways, next story. Not on the topic of dating, but I had a best friend who was very ungrateful for me being kind to him in the past. So that's another one. I won't even get into all that. I've let it go, honestly. I'm past that. And I hope that everybody in that situation has grown as people, because we were very young and we were friends for years. And ultimately, I respect him as a funny, friendly individual. But at the time, it was not the friendship that I needed. Therefore, friends are not forever, and that's okay. Not every friend is meant to be forever. Such a shitty man thing of him to do, to be thanks for everything, but nah, I don't care. I don't care that you were ever my friend for 5 years. That's crazy. Don't get me started on all the times my ex cheated on me or lied to me, or what ultimately made me and my terrible ex break up was he asked for my best friend's nudes, and I was so groomed at that point at the age of 18, because we've been together for 2 or 3 years, and he was way older than me. He made me think it was okay for him to ask for my best friend's nudes as payment for letting me do whatever I wanted to do, be able to go hang out that night. Comes the worst man of the day, but do I owe you something? You are not entitled to a date with me at all, ever. And if I originally agreed and then I said no, that's fine. Simple as just letting it go. Maybe a human being and I do not want to be harassed for not going on a date with you. Vaughn, billion fish in the sea. Why am I the one that you're hung up on and you have to harass me? When I say this, I'm mostly referring to like a lot of situations, but I'm also really referring to one time when I was out clubbing with my friends. And this guy like followed me around and harassed me. Like, why wouldn't you go on a date with me? And I was like, I'm not interested, I'm sorry. And like, just take no for an answer, dude. Genuinely terrifying being a woman sometimes, because like, about to nab me, why are you following me? Why are you sending me constant aggression in my direction? I'll probably mention I was like 17. I was like 17. Okay, we get it. I was like 17 and my ex was like in his 20s and he cheated on me with an even younger minor. Isn't that gross? And explicit photos of this younger minor in his phone about a year after that, and I forgave him. And yeah, the forgiveness was really hard to keep going. Ex-boyfriend came over to my house to cut everything off officially, and he told me that he was using me for my money and he did not love me. Isn't that crazy? Dude chastised me for being into SW, and then told me I'm using you for your money, but I'm still not okay with what you do. Plus, Ivan, it's a good man, but complicated note that I don't know if I'll ever get into. He gave me a black eye one time. Men suck. One of my non-blood related uncles, like super distant, asked me out whenever he got out of rehab. It was pretty gross. Absolutely tweaking. One guy that I went on dates with for a while, whenever I was like 18, invited me to go out downtown because he knew that I loved to go out and he did not. And he made it very evident that he did not. After inviting me downtown, he complained the whole time. I drove like 30 minutes to get there with him in the car. And he was like, I want to go home, I'm so uncomfortable, I want to go home. And I think I never saw him again after that because I was like, you just made me drive an hour total to pick you up, go downtown, you throw a fit for 10 minutes, be like, I want to leave, and then drive you home, and me drive home, and have my night ruined after getting all dressed up. So I had a guy one time, different guy, invited me out on a secret date that he wouldn't tell me what we were gonna do. The brother in Christ took me on a hike. Middle of winter, I thought we were gonna like do something else, go eat, take pictures. Or my incredibly uncomfortable Doc Martens that I still have not broken in to this day, like 7 years later. Heels were bleeding. Bro was like, what's wrong? Why can't you just walk like 15 more feet? And I was like, dude, feet are bleeding. So I never saw him again. I girls on dates without telling them at least the attire, a surprise date, super cute, cool. But I asked him what I should wear. He said, wear your best fit. My feet were bleeding. I'm super traumatizing, by the way. I was a teenager. I was dating this really misogynistic guy who insisted on doing some things whenever we got home from school. He talked crap about me to everybody about the way my body is and how I look after, because we were like sweaty from getting home from walking like 3 miles back from the school house. Long story short, we get inside and like he started like being mean to my face, and he's like, you're so ugly, I can't believe like I got with you. Talk shit about me to everybody. It was like 14, 15 time in school actually. I got invited to prom and I was only a sophomore, and you can't go to prom unless you're a junior or senior, right? So this guy invites me, and then he decides that we're not gonna work like romantically. And I said, okay, well, I already bought a prom dress, so maybe we could still go together. It could be fun as friends. This douchebag, my name off the prom list, and took another girl who he wasn't even dating. Insane. My mom spent like $100 on a dress or something, I don't even know. It wasn't a really nice dress, like cheap women's dresses cost a minimum and said, "You smell terrible." And like, she's an exotic dancer. Of course she does not smell terrible. She smelled like butterflies and rainbows because duh. She made constant trips in and out of the dressing room, like crying and being like, "Did I put on enough perfume? Should I take a shower?" Like, that poor girl. Bro entered the club, was mean to her, didn't get dances from anybody, and like left. Talked about one exotic dancing scam. But there's been many God, every day I think to myself, Ivan is my Julian Solomita, and I am so thankful. I'm so freaking thankful. This kid from middle school who I stopped being friends with for whatever reason, like I think he started fighting with my current friend. We're still friends since middle school, but they were fighting over me. And we never talked again. I don't know, like I was homeschooled in 8th grade, so it was kind of unresolved. And I don't know, he found me later in life, said hey, and then proceeded to say some slurs and say big fat balls in your jaws, and we never spoke again. What an odd interaction. Random, very, very, very random. Spoke to like, why? It's really an instance of men being terrible, it's just really funny. Been threatened by men who didn't get what they wanted in the club, and they're like, "I'm gonna leak you, I'm gonna leak your pictures and stuff." And I'm like, "Okay, queen, let me be Kim K Nudes famous. Don't care." Very funny. You think I would be putting myself out on advertisement, at least previously, if I didn't weigh that that could possibly happen? I don't care. The threats that men give, the threats are crazy. I think that threats make me double check myself, as if I didn't, as a woman, already weigh every consequence that could have possibly came from whatever interaction we had. Be wild and man, but a little boy one time, whenever I was door dashing, me and my boyfriend were low on cash a few years ago, and we were trying to move, so we're trying to make some extra money. We're door dashing in a really, really rich area. Mom accepts the food, and the little boy's in the front playing. He's probably like 9 years old, little dickhead, and he comes out and he goes, "What kind of car do you even drive?" And we're like, "We just delivered your food, dude. Be glad we didn't steal it or spit in it." After that interaction, I'm bitter, but that stays with me. It makes me upset that rich people act like that sometimes. Eat the rich, eat the rich, eat the rich. You training your youngling to act like that, that's insane. Peace and kindness and love and passion in this house. Passion as well. Only good vibes here. Give me, there are a million bad interactions with the women, but the men just make it so much worse whenever it does happen, because it's like, how are you as a man going to treat me like this? Men are evil, but men are downright disgusting. That shit. I'm an evil woman. And get it together. Gross. Know that half of my population of viewers are male identifying, so this is no slander to you if you're a good man and you don't do these terrible things to women, but just take this as a lesson, as a note, that it will stick with whatever woman you harass or do this to, and she will out you. This is not the immediate payoff of getting pepper sprayed like that one guy I dealt with. Sometimes you get ranted about in a